If you've seen the movie The Matrix, is about living in this world where they're stuck in this sort of world and they don't even know that they're in it. I would say that most people are in a debt matrix. Research on the banking industry. Let's see, when I did go to college for a little bit. I actually dropped out of high school after grade 9 and I never went back. I tried to go back to Los Angeles, but I was in such a bad neighborhood that the gangbangers used to rob me at school, so I stopped going to school because I was tired of getting robbed by them. So I was in a pretty bad neighborhood, and I did go back to college in Canada. I went to school for business, finances, financial advising for school in Canada, and really, after 2.5 years, I had lots of student loans, I had lots of credit card debt, and I started questioning, like, wow, this is the result of school. It seems that people get lots of credit card debts and auto loans, but they still don't learn finances. So the funny part is, when I came to California, I started to become an investor. I started reading books on money and investing, and I happened to buy a piece of real estate at the time in Southern California when they were kind of skyrocketing up, and I finally sold that piece of real estate, paid off all my student loans, all my credit card debts, and I was debt free. Then a couple years later, people started telling me, oh, you need to get a good credit score, and you need to go get some credit cards to do that, and you need to go get an auto loan. And pretty soon, a couple of years later, I was like, wow, I'm in debt again. What happened? And I started going, wait a second, what are they teaching me to do? And who's making money when they tell me to do that? And really, so my financial education is pretty much like everybody. It's the school of hard knocks. It's going through a system, and every time you go through that system, you end up really in debt, and you never end up in learning to invest. So my education is school of hard knocks, and of course, I've read a lot of books on the subject of money, the banking industry, other entrepreneurs. I've been working in the financial industry professionally for 12 years, so I've seen everything in the industry. I know what's out there. I've done hundreds of plans to help people, whether it's getting out of debt or teaching them about tax avoidance or whatever, So I'm doing it professionally for 12 years, but I'm very self-educated, and honestly, I can go to universities where they even give out fancy finance diplomas and talk to those people, and I know more than them many times. So I don't think that to get an education on something, or to make money, you don't need an education. You need a financial education. So I may not be the best student in school, but as far as financial education, there's a lot of things that I know, and I like to share it with others. In the book, I talk about what's called the debt matrix, okay? And pretty much, if you've seen the movie The Matrix, is about living in this world where they're stuck in this sort of world and they don't even know that they're in it. I would say that most people are in a debt matrix. It's the teachers and the institutions themselves are heavily in debt. They have credit card debts and auto loans and mortgages. The people that work at the bank themselves, they have credit card debts, auto loans, and mortgages. If they don't keep earning the money on that position, the bank's going to take their house and foreclose on their home and put their family on the street. So it's very difficult, because once you give a person a job and then you bury them in debt, they're stuck. Whether they like that job or not like that job, they're stuck. And we I say job stands for jail operating as a business, and there's some truth to that. If you don't have financial education and you're just taught to go get a job, it becomes a little bit of a jail. A job plus debt, you're stuck, and there's no way to get out. And whether you like your job, whether you wake up working at a bank one day and going, wow, we're not doing the best thing for our customers, you don't have a choice. You have to keep paying those bills. Even the teachers in schools, I think some of them are very frustrated. They want to help, but they have a mortgage too, and they have kids that need education too. So, it's such I'm an advocate of becoming financially independent. One thing I've loved is I'm 40 years old and I don't have to worry about where money comes in anymore, and I don't have to do what I'm told. I don't have to get up at a certain time. I don't have to do something for a paycheck, And I think that, one thing I ask people is, if you're not financially free, are you really free? Are you really free if you're not financially free? And I don't know, that's for people to decide for themselves. But I love educating people about money and entrepreneurship and finance and investing and tax avoidance, because it gives people freedom, and you give people freedom. It's such a cool thing when I sit down with somebody and they're heavily in debt and they don't know what to do, and I start giving solutions, and they start to go, wow, I'm sleeping better at night, and I have better relationships with my family, and it's just a cool thing to give people freedom,